We have a very special episode today. We have head coach Jorge Cascudo from Team USA Flag. Uh, People saw him on TV this weekend and they just see him as a head coach, but he's actually a pioneer of flag football, former quarterback himself. And I want to get into all that, how you started in flag, how you got up into this point with Team USA. I know you've had probably a week of just like, can't believe what just happened on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
But we'll first start with your background, where you grew up, and how did you get into the game of flag?
Well, Andy, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and talk football.
Yeah.
That's always fun,
Yeah,
fun
absolutely,
topic, especially now. But born and raised in Miami, 305. Went to Miami High for high school. I played college baseball at Florida Memorial University. Right after that, once I finished, baseball, I knew I was a pitcher. I knew I wasn't gonna get drafted. I didn't throw fast enough, but I always had a passion to play football. And air it out, started the year before here, and I always wanted to play. So the first year I played with my friends, my baseball friends in the rec or competitive, whatever, to play just to see it. But my uncle he was a football player. He played at Miami High. He played with his guys. His team name was Sting.
I remember Sting.
And
I remember Sting.
And first year I played with my friends and I watched him play
Yeah.
in the playoffs, and I'm like, I'm a better quarterback than that guy. I don't care,
Did Sting come from Stingrays, Miami High?
They were all football players from
Sting,
Miami
yeah,
High, so they just
Sting,
put
yeah.
Sting
I love it,
on
yeah.
it. So when they played and they lost, my uncle, he's only 10 months older than me. We always grew up together. I
Right.
told him, listen, try me out because I think I'm the difference for you guys.
Right.
And then funny, the first season of flag football ever in Miami was Champion Sports in '96. The league started and we put the team together, and we went 10-0.
Yeah.
And we won. And from there, Sting blew
Right.
and grew up as that's our team name. And then we traveled, and from there we just traveled around, and we were one of the top teams.
When you got into, you started playing flag, did you understand the concept of flag, or was that it took you a time period to really understand the game?
It took me a time period. I knew I always wanted to be a quarterback. I wanted
Right.
to throw. I had a strong arm, but the concept, there was a team called Down South with Rudy Pineda, the best team that was in flag during that time. So
Sure.
I would watch them, steal some of their plays, see what he did and all that, just to learn because it was fingers drawing up, and then the concept started, getting to me more ideas, play calling. We had good athletes, so that always helps when you have fast athletes.
Yeah.
So we were successful because of that. But yeah, you always have to learn. While even now, like you watch people play, the play calls and all that, you could take plays from other people and just learn from that and keep growing. But yeah, it took a while, but luckily it was quick.
You're considered one of the GOATs when it comes to flag
Appreciate
football
it.
down here in South Florida. Anybody that you talk to that's been around the game since the mid '90s will tell you you're probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play down here. And I don't think a lot of people know that. And I found the video of you playing in Jacksonville against
Wow.
the pros. Can you give me a little context on how'd you get to that game and how you felt in that game? Because fast forward 30 years, now you're
Yeah.
playing now you're coaching against NFL guys, and now it's on the biggest stage possible.
Yeah.
But run us through that that game against the pros when I think it was in 95 or 96 when that happened.
Yeah, I think it was
Around
96.
that, yeah,
around that
96
time.
around that time, yeah,
Long
up in
time ago.
Jacksonville, yeah. So how'd you get in that game?
I mean, it was awesome. I mean, back in the day was called Air It Out.
Yep.
You only had a 5-man roster. So I was praying that none of my guys got hurt because it was 4
You
on
had to
4.
go on defense.
That means I had to go on defense and rush. That wasn't
Yeah.
a pretty sight.
Yeah.
But luckily, we trained for it and we were ready for it. And it was one of the best tournaments they had because they would pick every city NFL played. They had a big tournament there.
Right.
Hundreds of teams playing the Top Gun.
Sure.
Only one comes out. Then we went to Wide World of Sports, and each champion plays each other. So you get 2 teams left at the end. And then the winners of that played on ABC Network against the NFL players.
Yeah, so you had Terrell Davis. Who played quarterback for them?
So it was Jeff Hostetler,
Yeah,
Terrell
Hostetler.
Davis,
Yep.
Eddie Kennison, Carnell Lake, Curtis Conway. Eddie Kennison was the fastest man of the year.
Oh
that
yeah,
year.
yeah,
They
oh,
did the
yeah. I
fastest
remember.
man back in
Yeah,
the day.
I remember that.
And that was great. It was a great experience. I got mic'd up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. During that time, I would throw F-bombs or curse in Spanish when I would mess up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is not going to work out.
Right.
But just to be there in the presence of them, we always see them in the NFL, and our dreams are always to, play football or baseball, whatever it is, but to compete against them, in our game, it was funny. My uncle would always say, we're the pros in this one. This is our league,
Yeah, right.
our
Our
they're
game,
playing
right?
Our game, and
Yeah.
they're playing our game
Yeah.
now. So they have to beat us. But it was a great experience, fun to be around and just compete against, the best athletes of the world.
Did you guys beat them?
We did not. We
No?
did not. We struggled. I blame my receivers. They dropped a lot of balls. It was raining, so the ball was slippery. But their offense, they scored on a Hail Mary. one time and then one on a missed flag. So it wasn't like they drove down. I think we lost 19-9.
19-9?
Yeah.
Okay.
But last minute, we were down 13-9 last play. And then one of my DBs tells Eddie Kennison and Hostel, hey, you haven't thrown my way. And he said, okay, I'm going to run a curl on you. And he just took him on a straight fly.
Yeah, straight go.
And we realized how fast he really was. But yeah, it was great. Great experience.
Yeah. I'm sure now the athletes are a little bit better in flag than they were
Different.
back then.
Yes.
Very different. And that was
Yes.
very evident on Saturday.
Yes.
Take us through tell us how you became the coach of Team USA and how this has evolved. You actually played for Team USA. I think you won
did.
3 golds.
I
with
won
Team,
4 gold
full
and
golds
1 silver.
and 1 silver.
I think our only loss
Really?
during that time.
Who'd you guys lose to?
We lost to Austria and Sweden
Okay.
in 2012.
Okay.
Championship game, we lost like 45-42.
Wow.
All defensive game.
Wow.
You know, but you know, our team and roster was different.
Sure.
It was more they selected from other states, but not really having a tryout. So it's more, I think, people you know and all that. So our team wasn't as strong as it could have been.
Right.
But we had enough still to compete, you know. But it was a great experience. We lost to that game against Austria. Then after that year, you know, since I was still playing, I played for 10 years there because IFAF was every 2 years. I asked USA Football, you know, if you allow me to scout now and let me select players. And after that, they gave me that freedom to select during that time. And then we just, you know, ran the board across. And then now we're doing selections, USA Football. You know, we have a trials every year. We select the best of the best, you know, from the United States to come and compete. You know, we have 48 players competing for 12 spots. And now this year we have 24 spots already now. Now they're competing for next year for Germany. When we go back now to Germany for our championships, from the 24 we have now, we'll go back to training camp. We've got to bring it down to 12.
Germany's the World Classic, right?
The World Championships.
The World
now, yeah.
Championships. And now is that going to dictate who gets into the Olympics, the World Championships?
So the winner, the top 3, normally whoever with the top 3 are going to qualify for the Olympics.
Okay.
So those 3 will have automatic bids.
Okay.
You know, I know they gave us a bid, I think, because of host.
Right.
But I hope we just win it so we could earn it instead of giving it to us.
Right.
So I think if that's the case, I think if we would win or finish in the top 3, the other 2 would automatically get a bid.
They get a bid
for the Olympics. So
got it. You guys just had trials, right now.
We just had trials the same weekend we had.
That's crazy.
The tournament at Fanatics and OBB. So it was crazy. Yeah.
How'd you guys pull it off?
I mean, our 3 coaches we have great coaches. You know, Willie Perez, he's one of our offensive coordinators as well as me. You know, he sacrificed and stayed back.
Sure.
You know, during this time because we still have to have coaches there, eyes on guys that are going to could replace some of our guys now. So we had to make sure our eyes are on both sides. We had great scouts as well there. So Rudy Camejo,
Yep.
Rudy Fernandez.
Yep.
Rudy Fernandez came with me, the defense coordinator. So we had our coaches there. But Rudy was back and forth. He was with me on Wednesday over there, and then he left Thursday back to Chula Vista, went back Saturday. So he was in both sides. So he had a chance to see some of the scrimmages and all them participate. So he had more eyes than I did. I was only there Sunday, but I think we had a good selection of the 12 that are moving on for the 24.
Yeah, I saw Robert Griffin III.
Yes,
was on there with his hat. Pretty cool. What's the feedback on Robert? What are you hearing about Robert?
I mean, I got to see him on Sunday.
Okay.
But before that, I didn't know what to expect from him because I didn't know he had played flag before. So I thought he was going to struggle. But obviously, he has a strong arm. He made great throws. He moved around in the pocket. He looked comfortable. And a lot of scouts were very impressed with him, Right. And when I saw him on Sunday, he was very impressive as well. Throwing the ball, connecting with one of our youngsters, Noah. I told him I thought it was like a Brady to Moss thing.
Right.
He threw like 5 touchdowns to him.
Yeah.
The connection was there, and he was feeling comfortable. I still think he has a little bit to learn, obviously, from the concept of this game. But he's putting in the work, and that's what counts.
I was going to ask you, how's the transition from playing organized tackle to flag? Like, how long does that take for you to learn the game? Because there's a lot of nuances that go into flag football. There's a lot of little things that go into flag football. It's not showing up, I'm talented, I got a great arm, and now I'm going to be this great quarterback in flag. We have seen multiple people try to come do this, and they fail miserably because they don't understand the game. So what do you think that time period would be for somebody like Robert Griffin to really learn the position in flag versus, coming from organized football?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can learn it right away. I think you need to have game experience. Besides practicing, learning the concept of it, you need to be in action to see the presence of the rusher, the coverages, the receivers. They run routes differently from tackle to flag. So they're just different types of coverages and all that. They've been telling me he's been playing for a couple of years now, flag.
Right.
And probably where he lives, his location. So he's getting more, he looked more polished and knowing the game a little bit more. They still could run the same routes, but it's a quarter of a full football field.
Right.
So it's different. So you have to learn the concepts. I think as a quarterback in the NFL, you can grasp it quicker, but off the rip, it's an adjustment period.
Well, you saw it in the Saturday's games, like Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady, which Tom Brady is incredible. To be throwing the ball, the way he's throwing it at 48 years old is just incredible to watch. And Jaden Daniels, you can tell that they looked uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A little bit because, the rush is on them in a second and a half to 2 seconds. So they didn't know what to do. They would just throw it back. And I think it's such a process to really learn this game. But you really saw the impact on those guys. And those guys are all world class, right?
Yeah.
Like those are the best of the best. And they struggle in this game. One thing really quick. So yesterday we're at a Levitar show. I take Nico and we're sitting in the back room and they pull up the roster for the 2024 trials, and then they see the coaching staff. And they're like, "Oh my God, they're all Cuban." I'm like, "Yeah, they're all Cuban."
Yes.
So they were all going nuts that the whole staff is Cuban. Dan's Cuban, and they thought that was pretty cool.
No, I mean it was. I saw it yesterday, and I was laughing about it because they're all Hispanic, they're all Cubans, and it was funny is because when I called plays, I started saying things in Spanish.
Well, I heard it on TV.
Yes.
So I heard ping ping. I heard dale. Yeah. I heard
Cajita,
all the plays. Cajita.
Linea.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have one Hispanic on the field, which is Nico.
Yeah.
But Hoosh says, I don't understand none of that, but he understands those type of plays.
Right.
And it's a concept. But now because of that, now I got to change probably the names or the wording of it because all the Hispanic countries are going to know it probably more and understand it. But I mean, it was just great just to put it out there.
Sure.
I had messages from younger youth coaches texting me, "Coach, I'm taking all those plays," and they put it. I'm using it for my team, and I was like, "That's awesome."
Yeah, the thing is that you've been playing for so long that I call plays now when I play quarterback. I'm not playing at the level that these guys are playing, but when I call plays, I'm calling your plays.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
man,
it's very cool.
It is cool. Sometimes you see it, and they're calling even in youth, and I say, "Oh, they're running windows or whatever, ventana."
Ventana,
when it comes to that, but it's awesome. You know what? Just to grow the game. I don't care where it's just people see it and they learn and they make their countries better, more competitive. That's the most important part when it comes to that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about last Saturday, the lead up into that. What was your mindset going into that? You get the phone call that Brady wants to do this game in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, the war breaks out. They had to pivot. Michael Rubin says, "I'll step in." Fanatics takes it over. You guys set a date in Los Angeles. And what are you thinking? What are your coaching staff thinking? Like, is this really going to happen?
Yeah, when they called me, before all that, I was in a Zoom meeting with Brady and everyone from Saudi and Coach Saeed, the women's coach, and they were just talking to us about the concept. They're like, Brady didn't know the rules. So how many people? What's the rules? How the field? What are the downs? And we were sharing with him, and he was like, "Oh, that's it? Really? Whatever." So we were talking, and they were doing it. It was supposed to be all NFL players and celebrities. And when we finished, I was like, "Man, I would have loved for us to get an opportunity just to go against them, and compare what's the difference, to see what difference it is, the gap was." And I guess something happened, and when USA Football reached out to me and said, "Hey, get ready because we might play," and we're like, "Stop it! You're not telling me that." I go, "You're lying." And that's a dream, because we always thought we want to compete against the best.
The best, yep.
And again, it's a different game. We always say it's a different game. The rules are different. The game style is different.
Sure.
So it's just different. So when they gave us the opportunity, I mean, I didn't sleep for the 3 weeks moving because I felt there was so much pressure in flag football for us and for the world to show them, that we belong and that we're part of this as well. And knowing that if we lose this Olympics, it's for the NFL players because they won, they're the best. But now winning, we showed that we're the best, but they're the best athletes, but they can definitely learn the game and be part of it as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that they're the best in the world, but I think what you guys did was establish that there's a separation between flag and the NFL, and that there needs to be a respect level to what you guys do on the field because it's an art. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of repetitions. It's a lot of games. There's a lot of time being invested into the game, and I felt, me personally, I'm not saying anybody else on your staff, but I thought it was a little bit of a disrespect that these guys just thought that they were going to show up and play and beat you guys. And some of the comments that I saw, I was like, they're gonna be in. They're gonna be in for one because this game is completely different, and this is not what they're accustomed to. And they saw what this game is about on Saturday, where you just can't show up and think that you're gonna win because you guys, play in the NFL. So that's kind of how I saw it. But talk about the lead up. I know you didn't sleep, and you know what? Amongst ourselves, because Nico was playing in the game. We're very close to Nico. I don't think the 3 days before that Saturday I couldn't sleep. That's all we kept talking about is what is this going to look like? Speculation. I don't know how many podcasts, videos. It was just the lead up into that was just amazing. I can't remember the last time I've had a week like that. I was just so excited. I wasn't even playing in the game, so I could only imagine you guys going through that progression, landing in Los Angeles. But talk a little bit about that when you guys landed in Los Angeles that Wednesday. That you guys did the draft with Brady and Drewski and Kevin Hart hosted it. What was that all? How did that all feel like? And how's the anticipation leading up to Saturday?
I mean, OBB and Fanatics, they did an amazing job. They treated us as equals. We stayed in Beverly Hills. Never been to Beverly Hills.
How beautiful is Beverly Hills?
It was beautiful.
You could eat up the street there. People don't realize how beautiful that place is.
We walked around the first day. Some of the players around, we saw it was amazing. We did all the galas at night, the dinners at night, all the events, everyone together. The draft party was amazing. Seeing just celebrities, seeing the NFL players just walk right by you, saying hi to you, and the coaches. I love the coaches. Coach Payton, he talked to me for like 15 minutes in one of the galas, and it was like, wow, I'm talking to one of the best coaches. And he was very humble, talking about us, saying that he's seen film on Hoosh and all the players. And the concept is different, how he has to adjust and learn, just this style of game. And it was just great. But they treated us as equals, nothing, we were indifferent, and that was appreciated. All the players were hanging out with a bunch of people that they grew up watching, even, boxers and all that. So it was great. We had a great time.
So, what was cool? I was laughing is Sean Payton with the headset and the play sheet.
Yes.
Looking calling plays. I was like, man, this is funny to watch. But yeah, Sean Payton's amazing. And you had Kyle Shanahan too.
Yes.
Did you get to talk to Kyle?
Yeah, I met him the first day. I took a picture with him. We spoke during the draft party over there, and it was great. He was like, yeah, man, this is something new for me. So it was different. But yeah, I spoke to him.
I heard he's very down to earth.
He's totally is. Super cool person. And obviously on the field, very competitive, so it's different. But off the field, he was very, very nice.
Cool. So you get into Saturday. What was the mindset from a game plan perspective? Like, what did you see? Obviously, there's no film on these guys other than that practice that you had. So what were you guys expecting going into Saturday?
I mean, I told everyone not to underestimate them because, again, they're the best of the best athletes, especially offensively. Right. I told my defense, listen, they're going to score. This is an offensive game, 4 downs each side. They score, just keep moving on. Our goal is to get 1 or 2 stops.
Sure.
I really felt offensively we were going to score every drive. My game plan was, you know what? They can't pull flags. They don't know this game yet. Until they pull flags, we're going to keep running the ball or keeping it short, making them pull flags. And then maybe if we catch them cheating, then we go with a special play, certain plays to go over the top. And we got a couple of them,
Yeah, you got good looks.
Yeah, and it helped.
Yeah.
But again, pulling flags was the most difficult part when it comes to people that aren't used to pulling flags. So that was our concept, and it worked perfectly. Like, I'm glad that the game plan and our mindset, what we thought was going to happen. So it made our offense.
I think you guys went with a tremendous game plan. I was giving you credit before we started the show because we're talking amongst each other. And we know the game of flag, and we thought the same thing. Hey, let's make them pull flags. But I think what you did too is you sprinkled in the throwing game, and you took your shots more than I anticipated. I didn't think you were going to do that, and you guys did it. And it was incredible to watch the dominance because they want to talk about the score in the third game that it was 24-14, but they started holding on to the ball and started killing the clock. And if you know that game, those scores are very common, right? Where you're going to win by a touchdown or 8 points or whatever, 10 points. But they started slowing down the game. They started figuring out we got to keep the ball away from them. But you guys were in control of that game. I think you had 4 possessions and you scored 4 straight times.
We scored 4 times.
Yeah, so it's incredible. I think you guys put up 108 points the whole entire tournament.
They told us after.
Yeah, how crazy is that, right?
For sure.
And they only put up, I think, was it 26 points?
I think each team scored 2 touchdowns a game, which for me was surprising.
It was very surprising. I think that's the biggest surprise I had is that they didn't score more. Why do you think that is?
You know what? People always say they're great athletes, and I defend my defense. I go, we don't have 6'3" DBs. We have 5'11", 6 feet. But I always say we don't run 4.4s. But we might run 4.5s, maybe a 4.6 when it comes to that. They could jump 40 inches. We might jump 38. So it's inches, you know, and the field is shorter. It's a
Shorter.
quarter of a field. Our athletes know how to position themselves not to just get beat. And like I said, Odell made an amazing catch. Our DB was there, but those inches made a difference at that time.
Yeah.
But there was one, Mike Daniels, I think with against Devontae, it was a fade route on the corner.
Right.
Devontae normally makes those plays, but our DB's there.
Oh, he was
Hands
there.
were there. He should have gotten
him
the pick.
down.
Locked him down. So athletic-wise, I think we were hanging with them, you know.
Right.
We pull flags. It's a
Right.
big difference. So they didn't get no extra yaks once they caught the ball. So it's the concept of the game.
Yeah, it was funny when they would, catch the ball short and they would run and the flag would just get pulled and they're like, they couldn't believe it that you guys pulled the flag as good as you guys did. That's the difference in the game. Talking about athletes, you have a few of them.
Yes.
And the world got to see them.
Yes.
And obviously I want to talk about Hoosh and the impact that Hoosh has had on the game of flag football. But Velton Brown has gone viral.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anybody that can dip that low in this game. How incredible is he to watch? And you get to watch him a lot. Like, how incredible is Velton?
Well, first of all, I taught him that. For the record, I showed him that.
You showed him that?
I showed him how low to go, but they needed help to get me back up.
The question
after
is,
that.
I was going to ask you. Yeah,
I
they
couldn't
pick you back up.
But I told him that's the concept of it. But no, he's a special breed.
Sure.
You know, he could do a lot of things. You know, the dip, the hip, the speed, the IQ of the game.
Right.
Yeah, he could do everything. You know, he's a special. And you know what? A lot of times when we've played, no one's really seen that of him.
Sure.
You know, because a lot of times we played other countries, we try to save him for championship games and all that and go basic and then, go all out in the championship, but we haven't had to.
Right.
But he still does his thing. Here, he displayed why he's one of the best when it comes to flag and hard to pull his flag.
I mean, he had, Snoop Dogg reposting him. I mean, everybody was reposting what he did because people can't believe how low he gets to the ground.
It's crazy.
And these NFL guys must have been like, what did we get ourselves into?
Yeah. That was tough. They needed 3 people just to surround him to get one flag, not even 2.
Was so good to watch. So good to watch.
Yeah.
Talk about the impact Pablo Smith, which is another name that people don't really know. But he impacted that weekend and then Saturday.
Pab is special.
Yeah.
I call him the one-step person. Everyone knows he's gonna do a jab step, but he still gets away with it.
Sure.
And they can't stop him. He has an arm strength that he hasn't shown either. He could throw the ball end zone to end zone, probably flat-footed.
I've seen it.
His speed is there. He doesn't look like it, but when he puts the jets, man, I always tell him, listen, you're one of the smartest people on the field. Run with that ball.
Sure.
If you have the space, take advantage of it because it's very hard to stop you. His IQ of the game as well. He could run and stop before the line of scrimmage and throw the ball when everyone thinks he's running. Yeah. So we have a special group, on the offensive side, and it makes my job easy.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with Nico and how he played.
Yeah.
I really think he showed as well that he belonged on that field.
He's growing every year.
Yeah.
He always wants to be the man. I go, listen, you know what? You're gonna get your chance. Just keep. I go, whatever you do, don't make mistakes. Don't force it. Don't try to be, I'm the man. It goes around me. No, there's a team. When you're passing, make your throws if it's there. If not, dump it because we have.
I thought it was the most, and I've been playing with Nico, and I've known Nico for a long time, and Nico's played on our travel teams. I've actually handed him grown-ups, and I've seen the progression of Nico where he's at today, and I think that was one of the best games or 3 games that I've ever seen him play because he was so under controlled. He took his shots when he needed to take his shots, and he didn't try to overdo it. Yeah. He didn't try to overcomplicate it, and his talent really shined on Saturday, I think.
Yeah, he was super comfortable, confident, and very important. And he showed why he belongs in this team.
Absolutely,
and he's a great leader as well. That's all, and he's young.
He's young.
So
he has a lot of upside. Yeah,
his future's bright.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Hoosh. Just an incredible. Ambassador to the game of flag, and he's really put the game on the map. And I have a lot of respect because he made some comments, but I think people took it out of context. And we live in a world of virality, and we want clicks, and they'll grab whatever you say and they'll turn into what it really isn't, and they take things out of context. But he stood on business. He said what he said about Mahomes. He talked about that the flag game is completely different, and he went out there and he proved it. Just talk about the impact. A of standing on what he said, and B, the impact that he's had on Team USA, but the impact he's had globally on the game of flag.
I mean, he's our MVP when it comes across the board. Like, he was our quarterback, you know, but as you saw, he could play receiver. He could play star. He could even play defense.
Yep.
He's so smart and athletic that he puts himself always in a place to succeed, Great person, very humble, hardworking, he dedicates. I know he's getting older. He knows that. So he still works out to prove a point why he still belongs here. And everyone knows him. Everyone loves him all around the world. He goes and does camps and everything everywhere else. And he's a great person. Like when he speaks, like he had nothing but positive things to say about the NFL players and athletes after that. You know, instead of a lot of people be like, "I told you, and I'm the man," and all. But no, he didn't.
He handled it so graciously,
Humble,
man.
humble.
Yeah.
And you know, he loves the game. He wants it to be at the highest level, but he respects and he wants to defend the flag football players, why we belong there, and we're also as athletic as they are when it comes to flag football.
Talk about coaching him because he's so competitive. I saw him on the sideline. He was jacked up for this.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. How is it coaching a guy like Hoosh?
I mean, he listens. You know, he listens. When we started, and I'm a pocket passer, so when he came, he's not a pocket passer.
Right.
Trying to give him my concept, and he doesn't understand it.
Right.
It was like, oh my God, you got to read this, and then we tweak it and adjust with his running play. But he got the hang of it, and now he uses it more. So he's always learning, you know, and wants to get better and better and better. And he doesn't care if I take him out of quarterback to receiver or whatever. He just wants to win.
Right.
And he wants to be a part of it if he can. And he's a key part.
Yeah.
Nico, for me, I tell Nico that's his favorite receiver.
Yeah.
When it comes to that.
Absolutely.
So as long as he's in the field, he's a leader wherever you put him in. And he's just successful.
It's a very tough offense to stop when you can put him anywhere.
Yes.
It's just, how do you game plan for that? I don't think you can. So just incredible. I'm I really saw the passion post game, you know, when you guys were at the podium. Yeah. And that he said he had to leave his glasses on because he was going to start crying. Yeah. And he did start crying. You can just tell what this means to him. And he's a special individual.
Oh, he is. I was next to him. And then I hear him crying in his voice. And my eyes, I start blinking because, okay, you're not going to cry. I don't have glasses. I'm like, you better stop. But no, I mean, he plays with a lot of passion. You know, when we were in Finland, the championship game got canceled because of the weather. And he was crying because he said we had unfinished business. He had a lot to prove for that, you know. And I was very fortunate the NFL, you know, allowed and the Mexican Federation to go to the Pro Bowl and continue that game over there.
Which was pretty cool.
And it was an amazing game, great game plan that Mexico had for us. Yeah. And it was a battle, which is great to see, to show that this game is very competitive all around the world and it's not a USA-dominated thing because there's competition.
So I want to talk about Mexico really quick, but the last thing on the post-game at the podium, you sitting there, how surreal was it?
Man, it was
a post game. Like
you always see like March Madness after the games, the players and coaches and all that, and I'm like, oh wow, this is something like that, you know. And I'm like seeing all the media and all that. It was so great, you know. I know they were there for Hoosh, and it's again just to be there in the presence of media and knowing that the flag football community and flag football is in that level right now was special.
Yeah, no, it's incredible to watch you guys do it. I'm like, man, this is so cool.
No, it was awesome.
I was living so vicariously through you guys, man, and I actually got to FaceTime Nico. He FaceTimed me, walking out of the locker room.
Yeah.
It was such a cool.
For me, it was a dream.
I can only imagine being there. I'm kind of upset at myself for not going. But this all happened so quickly, and I got a million things going on. I won't miss the next one. I can promise you that. So if you need like a water boy or towel boy, I'm your guy.
There's a big list for that. I gotta see. I've had a lot of people wanting to do that.
I bet. So let's talk about Team Mexico. You guys played in that game before the Super Bowl. Yeah. You guys beat them by a point, and people were laughing at that, right? They didn't think that just from a standpoint of aesthetically or whatever you want to call it, from a visual standpoint, it doesn't look like a good brand of football up until Saturday when you see that this is different. But the question I have for you is, if Mexico would have played this weekend versus the NFL guys, how do you think Mexico would have shaked out?
I mean, Mexico's offensive scheme is similar to ours when we drop back.
Sure.
I mean, they drop back 3 most of the time, and they run different things. And again, it's flag pulling. Right. I think the athletes for the NFL will be successful offensively. Defensively, they still got to pull flags, you know. So it would be a different game. I think the game would be really close. You know, it just depends now, you know, how much the concept of the game they grasp faster when it comes to the NFL players.
Yeah, I think they would have done well. I think just because from an offensive concept standpoint, it's tough to beat that.
Yeah,
and if you've never seen that, and they run this through all, you know, not only Team Mexico, but any Mexican team that you play, they always drop 3 guys back. Yeah. And they'll start throwing it back and forth, and you have no idea what to do with them if you don't know how to kill that.
Yeah, I think everyone there throws as a quarterback.
100%, everybody throws.
Everyone's a quarterback in Mexico.
Yeah, and they all have they all have a hip and dip and the whole thing. Talk about the game globally now, where we're at. Obviously, this was a big showcase to the world of where flag's at, but where do you see the game? Now we got the Olympics coming up, but post-Olympics, where do you see this game?
I mean, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. You know, that I expect it to be in the Olympics forever moving forward because there's so many countries now playing. When I started in 2010 as a quarterback for Team USA, we played in Canada. We probably had 16 countries play, 14 women, maybe 16 men, vice versa. And then now there's over 60, 70 countries playing this that before it would be an open thing if you wanted to play in the World Championships. But there's so many countries now. So now we have international every other year, like international tournaments. Like
Sure.
you got to qualify now
Right.
because there's so many teams. It's not fair. So the competition is serious. And now it's an Olympic sport. A lot of countries want to be involved and participate. And from 2010 to now, how the game has grown and gotten so quick and faster has been amazing. You know, Panama is a great flag football country. The passion for flag football there is amazing. Mexico, it's in another world. Like there's so much flag there, so many people play that game.
Well, there's always over 6,000. People, I don't think people realize 6,000 teams in Mexico.
Yes.
They're giving out full ride scholarships for men's and women's
Yes.
flag football
Yes.
in college in Mexico.
If you haven't played a tournament in Mexico, you go.
Yep.
Because the competition, the passion that's there, it's in
Even the fans, they're into it.
100%. A championship game, it'll be like the out of bounds are people standing on the line, so
Yep.
you know where it's out of bounds.
Absolutely.
How packed it gets. But all the countries, there's so much competition moving forward. Italy, Austria, Denmark, you know, Canada. Canada now, they're getting CFL players and all
Sure.
that. I think last year they were learning. They beat us in a friendly, you know, and they were learning the game. They're going to get stronger and better after playing in Finland. Their concept now they're taking it more serious. They're bringing more athletes. The coach wants to bring, so it's gonna. They expect them to be in the top 4, you know, competing when we go to Germany this year. So,
What do you, moving now to back to the Olympics? When do you think there's going to be a decision made on who's going to represent the USA?
Great question. Not sure yet. I know the Olympics are going to go through USA Football. So USA Football are the ones that are going to select the team.
Right.
So it depends how the NFL. I know the NFL said that they're going to select, I guess, 1 player per team that is allowed to try out. So I hope they do try out. I want it to be an open tryout when it comes to them. And if there's 32 teams, 32 players if they want to, and then our 32 best players from flag, and let's go to a trials like we always do and let them all 64 compete for the 10 spots that are going to be for the Olympics during that time.
Man, I just found out the other day it's only 10 spots. Like
Yes.
I'm a little dumbfounded by that.
I mean, I'm guessing because it's a pilot. You know, it's a first year. They don't know what to expect.
But IFAF is 12.
IFAF is 12. Before it was 15.
It was 15,
and
yeah.
now they cut it to 12. And I guess here, maybe because of the numbers for the village or whatever, I'm not sure how that works. But for now, I guess it's 10. I think if there's a good product on the table and their interest goes, they might maybe in the future go back to 12, not knowing. But even 10, just to appreciate the opportunity for it to be in the Olympics.
I think the NFL is going to be in a dilemma if they leave that 10-man roster, because if you get a couple offensive guys, whatever, however it works, and I think it should be kind of like a hybrid model. That's just my opinion. You get a couple guys, but let's say the NFL goes full out, blah blah blah. If you get a couple injuries, that can happen.
Yeah.
Now you got offensive guys that got to go play defense.
Yeah.
And now if I'm an owner of an NFL franchise, do I want that?
Correct. Yeah, that's a tough part.
That's a tough part of it.
Players want to play.
Right.
Owners don't
Yeah.
want them to play because of
Yeah.
the liability of them getting hurt with a lot of money on the line, you know, and their franchise,
Sure.
their team, you know, moving forward. So that's tough, you know, because no one can know what happens on the field. You know, it could be a freak accident. But yeah, with 10 players now, when we select people now, it might be you have to be multitask, offense, defense. You have to play different positions because of injury. Now you got to make sure that we don't lose a step when it comes to, you know, someone getting hurt, either quarterback
Absolutely.
or defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I think that's going to play into this decision of
Yeah.
the NFL. How deep do they truly want to get involved and putting their stars out there? I mean, you had Joe Burrow catching passes out of the backfield, and he landed awkwardly. And I've seen all the comments are like, "Get him out of there!" You know,
they were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, what are you doing? And like it's like what you said before we started the show. Like these guys, if they're going to get on the field, they're going to compete. They're not going to,
sure.
they're not going to take it easy, especially if they're getting their head beat in like they were. They're like, you know, they have pride, right? And they're not, I mean,
if you're an athlete, whatever sport you're playing, you want to win.
Right.
I know you might start, let's have fun, but no, when things are happening, your competitive level turns up, and you're going to play to win, no matter what it
Absolutely.
takes. So, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. See what happens moving forward for the next 2 years. I know the talk's going to be more and more coming out. I know next year for sure because the year before that. But we're looking forward to what happens, and hopefully everyone has a chance to compete and try out for it.
So now you guys are playing in Germany.
Yes.
In August.
Yes.
What does that look like? How many teams are there? And by when do you have to select your team to go to Germany?
So we just had our trials this past week. So
Sure.
we selected 12 from there, and our 12 from our national team. So we have 24. So we're gonna have next month. We have our first training camp. Then mid-May we have our second training camp. From there, the 24 we cut it down to 18. So then in June we go the final 18, and that after that training camp we cut it down to 12.
Got it.
And then 6 will be alternates for just in case someone gets hurt or something happens that we could replace them with those spots. And then July we'll have one more training camp with the 12, and then in August we go to Germany for our World Championships.
Amazing. I think I might have to join you guys in Germany.
It's a great experience,
Yeah.
man. To be there with the crowd and just everything.
check it out.
It's amazing.
I gotta
it's
see
really
that.
really good.
Well, Coach, man, listen, I thank you for taking the time
I
coming
appreciate
out
it.
here and doing this. I told you the other day, I think that people needed to hear from you. You're one of the pioneers of this game, and you've put our game on the map. And I say ours because I feel like it's our game.
100%.
Yeah, we have been we've been the pioneers down here in South Florida flag football, and you've been, I guess, one of the faces of it. So thank you again
I appreciate
for
it.
coming on.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was
Absolutely,
awesome.
man. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
We'll catch you guys on the next one.
For sure.